Have you ever wondered what your spleen actually does in your body? Now, if you're like most people, you might not give your spleen a second thought. It's not as famous as the heart or the brain, but it plays a crucial role nonetheless. This small, fist-sized organ tucked away in your abdomen is a vital part of our body's defense system. So, ready for a deep dive into the less celebrated world of the spleen? In the next few minutes, you will uncover the mystery of your spleen. The spleen, an organ you probably don't think about often, is actually a crucial part of your immune system. It's like the unsung hero in your body, constantly working behind the scenes to keep you healthy. This organ, tucked away in your abdomen, is a master multitasker. Firstly, imagine it as a vigilant security guard, ever ready to fight off infections. Our spleen screens our blood for invaders like bacteria, viruses, and other harmful pathogens. When it spots a threat, it produces white blood cells to combat these unwanted guests. But that's not all. The spleen also helps maintain the balance of body fluids. It acts like a reservoir, storing blood that can be used in case of emergencies like a sudden drop in blood pressure. So, you see, our spleen is constantly working, tirelessly ensuring our well-being. So without your spleen, your body would have a much harder time fighting off infections. Now let's dive into some fascinating facts about your spleen. First up, did you know that the spleen is the largest organ in the lymphatic system? That's right. Its primary role is to filter blood and help the body fight infections. It's like the body's own personal security guard, standing on the front lines ready to tackle any harmful invaders. Here's another fun fact. Your spleen is a bit of a shapeshifter. Yep, you heard it right. Depending on your body's needs, your spleen can enlarge or shrink. For instance, when you're fighting an infection, your spleen might swell up to help produce more white blood cells. Conversely, if you're dehydrated, it could shrink down to conserve water. It's a true team player, constantly adapting to keep you healthy. But wait, there's more. The spleen is also the only organ that can regenerate if a part of it is removed. This remarkable ability has been a boon to medical science, with spleen-preserving surgeries now a viable option for patients with spleen injuries or diseases. It's like a superhero with the power of healing. Speaking of superheroes, did you know that the spleen can even perform without being in its original position? In rare cases, people are born with a wandering spleen, meaning it's not in the usual left upper quadrant of the abdomen but can move around. But don't worry, it keeps doing its job, no matter where it decides to wander off to. And finally, here's a little historical spleen fact for you. In ancient times, the spleen was thought to be the organ of melancholy, responsible for feelings of sadness and gloom. Of course, we now know that's not true, but it's an interesting bit of trivia, isn't it? Isn't it amazing to think about how much your spleen contributes to your overall health? Now, the next time someone asks you about your spleen, you'll have plenty of fun facts to share. Remember, the spleen may not be as famous as the heart or the brain, but it's every bit as important. So, here's to the unsung hero of our bodies. Before we wrap up, here are the key points to remember about your spleen. Firstly, the spleen plays a vital role in your immune system. It's a blood filter, removing old or damaged red blood cells and recycling iron. But it's not just a silent cleaner. It's also a fighter, producing white blood cells to combat infections and diseases. Secondly, the spleen has an amazing regenerative ability. Even if a part of it is removed due to injury or disease, it can regrow back to its original size. It's one of the few organs in the human body with this remarkable power. Thirdly, the spleen is a storage unit. It stores a reserve of blood that can be released into the bloodstream during a traumatic event, such as a severe injury or a sudden drop in blood pressure. Fourthly, the spleen is a mystery box. Despite the progress in medical science, there's still so much we don't know about this organ. The spleen's role in the immune system is far more complex than we can imagine, and research is ongoing to unravel its secrets. Lastly, remember the tale of the wandering spleen? It's a rare condition where the spleen moves around in the body due to a lack of ligaments holding it in place. It's an odd but interesting fact about this unsung hero of our bodies. The spleen may be an unsung hero in your body, but now you know just how important it really is. Thank you for watching, and remember to take care of your spleen.